Hey there, Owls. Matt Schmidt here, coming to you with the Soar program. So excited and looking forward to seeing you all here for Hootie's Welcome Days in August. I'm in Centennial Hall here where we met back in June and where you impressed us so much with the sharing you had and your inspiring stories. It was great to really see you guys being real with each other and making connections. And we hope to build on that when you come in this August. I must say it's a little weird not seeing you here. And the campus community, the orientation staff, we're so excited to get together with you in a couple of days and build on those connections we made here. Okay, so the title of this interactive session is Roots to Riches. And the reason we're making this video is we heard your feedback when you were here in June that you wanted the session to be more experiential and you wanted more time to interact. So that's why we're making this video, to deliver some of the messaging that hopefully you can watch this with your group and your O-leader. Afterwards, you can talk about what's resonating with you, what your experience is like so far. But then when we get together in August, the session will be completely experiential and you'll have tons of time to interact with each other. As you may recall, in June, we talked about some different steps you could take to not only help you build community, which you did in this room, but that would also help you be successful in Soar while you were here. Also look at some of the things that are a challenge for you. So we talked about gratitude and courage and fear. And so you may remember those steps, but the next step we want to take when you're coming in here to build on that foundation is how can you make a home here at Keene State? And so I had some thoughts about that, but I also talked to some students to see if they could help me paint this picture of how you can build a home here. Now that you have taken those steps and started a foundation here, we want to encourage you to build on that, and we want to help you build your home here at Keene State. Coming home to yourself and coming home to life here at Keene State College. Those steps now turn to self-care, power of story, growth and grit, and real relationships. Okay, so we've taken a look back at the steps you took in June here that helped you build community and make you feel more welcome, as well as how to turn those steps into helpful ways for you to build a home here at Keene State in August. I also wanted to take a minute to look at what I meant by the title, Welcome Home, Roots to Riches, and that really stemmed out of this question that can be both inspiring and challenging, and that is, what are you gonna do now? I feel like I got that question when I graduated from high school, and I even still get it now in work and with my family, and I probably guess many of you have that same question, what are you gonna do now? And it feels like this future sense of a question, like as if what you are right now isn't good enough. So it can bring up some confusion and frustration. And this acronym RICHES is really a way to help guide us through that in a more skillful way. And it's asking the question of how can you be resilient? How can you have integrity in your choices, build a home here, and engage in all of that skillfully? And we really want to talk to you about that and engage in that in August. Okay, so another thing we heard from you in June was that you wanted our sessions to be more fun and more chill. And so we thought we'd play a game called Two Truths and One Lie. And so what I'll do is I'll basically tell you two stories about myself that are true and one that's a lie. And then you've got to figure out when we get together in August which one the lie is. So game on, Owls. 1. I was anxious and frustrated to create this Soar presentation. 2. I scored a goal against the Major League Soccer team, the Columbus Crew, in a preseason college soccer game. 3. For most of my life, I was ashamed that I didn't finish a book until after college. So, those are my two truths and a lie, and now I challenge you to come up with your two truths and a lie, and we'll play this at our session in August. Okay, so when thinking about asking all of you to share, I was trying to see what might be helpful or inspiring for you all, and again it came back to me being willing to share myself. And I think back, it brought me back to June when I got done doing all the SOAR presentations, 20 of those over those 5 sessions. I was very tired and fatigued, but it was exciting and I was inspired. That's why I was tired from all the things you guys shared. But basically, I get this call at 3 o'clock that afternoon from my brother that my mom had to be sent to the emergency room. She had a life-threatening disease. It was this kind of shock, but that really reminded me of, I think, the important story to tell you is that I had a medical condition right when I got out of college, right after I graduated, where I had to have surgery. I had tumors on my spine. When I would sneeze, I would, kind of buckle over. I couldn't sleep through the night. And I had to have this surgery to have this 5 centimeter tumor removed. I had to have 6 weeks of radiation. It took me 2 months to relearn how to walk. And as you may remember from the Soar presentation, like, I was a Division I soccer player. I'd been an athlete my whole life. And that was really kind of my identity, was this, that was really a big part of who I was. So to have that taken away was very stressful and scary to go through. And I think we all struggle with those different identity pieces of who am I and what am I doing now. And so, but I think about after that, like, if I hadn't had that condition happen and have to have that surgery, then I might not have gotten into coaching and been kind of forced into doing this other path that I love so much, and then being able to get into teaching and working with all of you. So I would have never put those points together like that in the moment when I was planning it, but looking back on it, I can see how they make sense. So in closing, looking back at that kind of essential question of us to discuss and consider, what are you going to do now, how you feel about that? And I think it's looking back at your roots, where you came from, and looking at where you're at right now, how you feel about that and this experience. And then looking forward is that planning of, how can I find a richness in what I'm doing here on the week to week, or this first semester, my first year, and that experience of saying, oftentimes I think people look at or richness, or what they want to do is, how am I going to have this job that's going to get me money? Or can I do it so well that I could be famous? Or how am I going to have power at this position or company? And those things can be important. But there's a richness in just sitting in and taking where you're from, where you're at now, and that you're good enough, and seeing those qualities that you can be grateful for and that bring you joy, and that richness is also to be included with what you do to be successful. So I encourage you all to create a brave space for yourself and for the others in your group. And I also challenge you to think about your two truths and a lie, and then how can you come to the Soar interactive session with your best self and with an attitude that's going to help you and others really get something out of that.